Okay, again, I'm doing the evens, 2, 4, 6, 8 with you in class, and then you need to do the odds for homework, okay? So here is a really great way for you to know how to do geometric mean. We know that it's like hypotenuse over a long leg equals hypotenuse over a long leg, or hypotenuse over the short leg equals hypotenuse over the short leg. The altitude comparing two sides, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to solve for x, y, and z on every single problem that I'm going to do today. So right now, if I look at number 2, there are some missing pieces of information. So if this whole thing is 6, 2 of it is already taken up. What's this? 4, right? Okay, now, I'm actually going to solve for y first because I think that that's easiest. Here is how you do the y. I'm going to do one piece of the, well, we can call this the hypotenuse, right? The 6 is a hypotenuse. 2 over the altitude equals the altitude over 4. So the middle variable, 2 over the altitude equals the altitude over 4. 2 over y equals y over 4. 2 over y equals y over 4. Yes? Okay. So that means that I'm going to cross multiply. Y squared, do you want me to put, I don't know, it's like the short S, I'll just put ST because I don't want you to think it's a bad word. The short side over the long side equals the, Y is the short side on the medium triangle over the long side of the medium triangle. So maybe you need these words still, maybe you don't, I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm going to keep it 4 times 2. And the reason I'm going to keep it 4 times 2 is because 4 is a perfect square. And now if I'm going to isolate y and solve for y, I need to square root both sides. Radical 4 times 2, out comes the 4, 2 rad 2.
Can we still make it a decimal or no?
No, I don't want you to make it decimal. Let's just keep it, we're keeping everything in radicals today.
Miss Grant?
Yeah.
Everything's glitchy for me, so could I leave and join back?
Yes, I will let you in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that's my y value. So my y value was made because it's the altitude, the tall middle line. Part of it, a little piece of the adjacent side over the altitude equals the altitude over the adjacent side. Now let's talk about x. In order to solve for one side of the triangle, okay, this is important, everybody watching. I don't need, I'll stand over here. I don't need any of this information over here. You know what I do need? This hypotenuse is related to its short leg and the long piece. X, 2, and 6, all related. X, 2, and 6. See how they're all like clumped together as well? The X and the 2 are part of the same triangle, and the 6 is the whole thing. Here's how that's going to look when I write it. 2 over x equals x over 6. X, 2, and 6. Your diagonals must match. Sometimes they're variables, sometimes they're not. Just depends, just depends. So, I've got x squared equals, and this doesn't do anything. This 6 is not a perfect square, 2 is not a perfect square. So I'm just gonna have to do 12, which is fine. Square root both sides. Make one of them a perfect square. I chose 4. 4 times 3. 4 is a perfect square. So I'm going to take the 4 out of the square root symbol, and I'm going to put, dun, 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 2 out of 3.
Miss Grant, can you let McKenna in?
Oh yeah, well, I don't see her. Yep.
Why did you say x, 2x over 2 over x equals x over 6?
Because diagonally, the geometric mean, the definition of geometric mean means that I have matching diagonals. So the x has to go in that position.
So like, are you matching like small leg or like
For x, it ended up being short leg over hypotenuse. And then the x is also the short leg of the giant triangle. See how this is the short leg of the giant triangle? Over 6 is the hypotenuse of the giant triangle. But I really want you guys to get away from writing words. So I'm going to do less and less of that because that's what I did all yesterday or, last lesson. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to you about, the z. Okay. The z, the 4, and the 6 are all related. Remember how I said with x, it was x and its adjacent side and this big long hypotenuse? With z, it's adjacent leg and the giant hypotenuse. Z4, 6, Z4, 6, all related. C4, 6, X2, 6. So it's basically when you look at the triangle, you can see what's clumped together, but you're always including that long edge, right? We didn't for Y, but Z, ready? So Z is about 4 over Z equals Z over 6. Does that seem fine? Cross multiply. Z squared equals 24. Well, the perfect square in 24 is a 4. So I really shouldn't have made it 24. I should have kept it 4 times 6, right? Square root both sides. Z is now out of the square root equals out of 4, 2 rad 6. 2 root 6. Square root answers are A-OK today. I'm going to do the same thing for number 4. We're going to relate. Okay. Ready? Check this out. Oh, what's this right here? Whole thing. What number is this right here? 9? Yes? Zoomers?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Watch first. Stop writing for a second. The X goes with 1 and 9. The Z goes with 1 and 8. It's pieces that are connected to the altitude, 1 and 8. Z, the altitude, 1 and 8. Y, 8 and 9. Because they're all like on the same side. Y, 8, 9. X, 1, 9. Okay? So, here we go. My X. 1 over x equals x over 9. Diagonally, I have the same thing. That's the biggie on geometric mean. X squared equals 9. Yay, x equals 3. Y goes with 8 and 9. Y matches with 8 and 9. Yeah. So, how about 8 over y equals y over 9? Y squared equals 70. Well, let's do 8 and 9. And 8 can break up. Like, there's a lot of perfect squares in 72. So I'm going to square root both sides. Here's what I'm going to write for all my breaking down of 72. The square root of 4 times 2 times 9. 8 times 9. Out comes a 4. Out comes a 9. The 4 becomes a 2, the 9 becomes a 3. The 2 stays inside. So on the exterior of my root, I have y equals 6 rad 2. Y equals 6 root 2.
I just use 9 and 8 and put y equals 3 rad 8. Will that also?
8 can break down because 4 times 2 is a perfect square. So you could use that. Z, we talked about Z, that's the altitude. The altitude uses the 1 and the 8. It's the adjacent legs, Z and 1 and 8, the adjacent legs. 1 over Z equals Z over 8. 1 over Z equals Z over 8. Z squared equals 8. Well, 8, I'm going super slow, I don't need to. 4 times 2, break it down, break it down. Ooch, ooch, ooch. I'm a rapper now. Z equals 2 radical 2. So that's 4. I hope you're getting the hang of it. This should be a lot easier today because it's the second time we've seen it and I've given you like a little trick to use, right? I want to go to 6. Are you ready for 6?
Yes.
Okay. The triangle's upside down from the first 2 that we did, but we're pro, it's cool. All right. So let me talk about what relates. X and 15 go with 5 rad 3. Z goes with 15 and y, but we don't know what y is. We can't have 2 variables in a proportion. Y gets used with the Z. So I actually need to do X. See how this altitude relates to the X and the 15. The altitude relates to its adjacent legs, X and 15. So I'm gonna have 5 rad 3 is gonna be the number that's written twice. It's not gonna be my X this time. Okay, I'm first solving for X because the X is the only thing that's really complete. The 5 rad 3, the X and the 15. So I'm gonna do X over 5 rad 3 equals the altitude again. X over 5 rad 3 equals 5 rad 3 over 15. Again, X over 5 rad 3 equals 5 rad 3 over 15. Five rad 3 is actually then squared, is it not? 5 rad 3 times 5 rad 3? 5 rad 3 times 5 rad 3. Equals 15x. So 5 squared and rad 3 squared. Both of them, they're separate because they're separated by the radical sign. 5 squared is 25. And then rad 3 times rad 3 is rad 9, and rad 9 is 3. So I really have 25 times 3 equals 15x. True? I think I have to, you guys have to switch masks. This is falling and annoying. All right. 75 equals 15x. It goes in 5 times. X is 5.
There's no way.
What? How is that possible? Thank you for letting me know. No. Okay. All right. There's something super simple. If X is 5 and this is 15, how big is Y? Someone from Zoom. Someone
20.
from Zoom. Good, 20. 5 plus 15 equals 20. Y equals 20.
That's it?
Yeah, because I just had to add the two numbers. 5 and 15. It was really nice.
Oh.
Z. Can somebody set up Z for me? I'm covering out the things you don't need to know.
It's 15 over Z equals Z over 20.
Good, it's so easy. There's so many people volunteering. That's like the best in math, right? 15 over Z equals Z over 20.
So we're not gonna use a 10 at all.
We only use, no, we didn't need to. Nah. Woo, 15 times 20, 300. Z squared equals 300. 100 times 3? That's good, right? 100 times 3? 10, okay. 10 rad 3. I hope that the pattern is becoming like easy for you and you're like, yeah, I got this. That's my hope for you. Can Can I go to the next one?
The rest of them kind of like they didn't copy very well.
They didn't copy very well. We are going to physically write down 7 and 8 and 9. So that when you go home, you can do 7 and 9 successfully. Okay. 1/3, 1/6, X, Z, and Y. Here's number 7, copy down 7. 8, we're gonna copy down next. Okay, here's 8. X plus 2, X plus 1, Z, Y. Check it out. Nine. Nine is Y, X plus 7, Z, and 12. There's 9. And on number 9, if you want to copy it so that it's like written like this, because maybe you like how I've been instructing you. Hold on. If you like the way that this triangle looks better than this triangle, redraw it. Make your life easy, because this is the shape, this is the orientation that we've been working with. That's helps us. Like, I'm gonna redraw number 8 when I do number 8 for you. You have to make these problems like beneficial to your brain. If something works better for you, then do it that way. Yeah.
How would those two both be 12?
I don't know, did I make a mistake? Oh, why? Yeah. Good. So I'm going back up to 8. Eight is our Algebra 1 review problem, because I've got factoring, foiling, distributing. Okay. There's a piece of information that we don't know yet. Here it is. How long is this entire hypotenuse? This and this together.
2x plus 1.
2x plus 1. That's important. We need to know that. Here's what I think is the easiest one to solve for first. The x plus 2, the x, and the 2x plus 1. Those. Because they all have an x in them. Okay, here's what that looks like. I'm gonna do x plus 2 over x equals 2x plus 1 over x plus 2. X plus 2 over x equals 2x plus 1 over x. If you wrote it the different way, get the same answer. Okay? Okay. Ready? Algebra 1, and go. X plus 2 is multiplied twice. I'm then distributing the x and the 2x plus 1. So, first, outside, inside, last. X squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 2x squared plus x. You need to get everything on one side. If I subtracted the 2x squared over to the left, I would get a negative x squared. That means my leading coefficient would be negative. I don't like that when I factor. So I'm going to have to bring this trinomial over to the right so that my x squared is positive. Can I do like multiple steps at once? Are you guys cool with that?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Okay. 2x squared minus an x squared. I have two of the x squareds and I take away an x squared, right? 1x squared. I have an x and I take away 4, which means I'm way in the negative, right? 1 minus 4. And then this constant is a lone, so loner. All right. Not done. Now I'm factoring. Algebra doesn't stop. Two numbers that multiply to make it -4 and add up to -3.
-4 plus 1.
Very good. Now, my question to you is, there's a term that we use in Algebra 2 a lot, and it's called check for extraneous solutions. And the word extraneous is kind of like a weird word anyway. So I'm looking for, I'm checking for numbers that are like weird and not good. 4. Could a value of 4 fit okay into here? +4, I could do it. -1. Can my length of my leg be -1? What about that? -1 plus 1 would be 0. So my extraneous solution is x equals -1. I don't use that. Look at all this work just to get my x. But now, let's substitute x in and find my values. 4 plus 2. This side 6. X, well, x is 4. 4 plus 1. Right? 2 times 4 plus 1. 2 times 4 is?
8,
Plus 1.
9.
Okay. Now my y and my z are going to be super easy to solve. Sorry, this mask is itching me to like, there's little fuzzies. Ah, driving me up the wall. So, with my altitude, remember how my altitude compares the 4 and the 5? It's adjacent legs. So I'm going to go 4 over y equals y over 5. Y squared equals 20. I shouldn't have even have made it 20. I should have kept it 4 times 5. Out comes a 4, 2 rad 5. All right? Z. Z goes with 5 and 9, right? All on the same side, connected, close together. 5 over Z equals Z over 9. How about that? And Z squared equals, oh my. Shouldn't have made it 45. Should have kept it at 9, huh? Whoop. 3 radical 5. Z equals 3 rad 5. So you have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 to do on your own. I'm going to stop the recording because we are finished.